Modern NFL stadiums are out of this world amazing. The technology, seating capacity, security, and presentation of the gridiron truly are engineering marvels. And right now, we're going to look at every single one of them, give you a few tidbits you might not have known, uncover some secrets, and as always, throw a little shade down onto the field. Critiquing every NFL stadium is coming up right after this. Today's video is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an app that aggregates ticket prices from all over the web and gives them a score from 1 to 100. And on top of that, lets you see the view from your seats before you even buy. Download the SeatGeek app from the link below and use my code FPV at checkout and get $20 off your first order. SeatGeek. Okay, so warning to everyone, I am not an architect, I am not a historian, and this is not a serious critique, though you might learn a few things today. Also, I sorted each stadium by seating capacity, lowest to highest, because alphabetical order sucks. Oh, and thank you Google Earth, freaking amazing. The StubHub Center, the Sunnyvale trailer park that is the temporary home of the Los Angeles Chargers. While not serving as a double wide to the LA Galaxy, this 16-year-old stadium gets to hear the raucous cheers of blank you Spanos every Sunday from now until the taxpayers shell out for the Chargers' new home. With the smallest seating capacity in the league at 27,000, the one-level bowl sometimes looks like the stadiums in Brazil following their disastrous World Cup. The house that Al Davis built. This stadium is the last dual-use venue in the league, and soon we will finally put an end to having teams trounce over second base during a pitch left. Ironically, it will be the A's who will remain in this park, which isn't exactly made for baseball, when the Raiders move to Las Vegas. I wonder if they will take the fighting-only section with them. Have you ever wondered if aliens visited our planet and chose Soldier Field as their landing site? While retaining the original buildings from the first iteration of the stadium, the new futuristic seating bowl does kind of look out of place. The stadium originally opened in 1922 and was named as a memorial to soldiers who died in combat, and Jay Cutler probably didn't know that, judging by the way he played. Opened in 2006, the Cars home field was a huge leap forward in stadium design, as it was the first NFL arena ever to have a retractable roof and a retractable natural grass field. The venue has hosted 2 Super Bowls and was intentionally designed to look like a snake wrapped around a barrel cactus, which makes sense because you see that a lot in Glendale. Opened in 2002, Ford Field is one of 7 dome stadiums in the NFL and was the famous site of Super Bowl XL, where Detroit native Jerome Bettis ended his career with the help of the refs. Ford Field was a huge upgrade from the dilapidated Pontiac Silverdome, which sat empty for years before being imploded. Twice. Bonus fact, the stadium features full-size living rooms in it that fans can replicate their at-home experience in while at the live game. That makes a lot of sense. Originally opened in 1987, this arena has probably had the most names: Joe Robbie Stadium, Pro Player Park, Pro Player Stadium, Dolphin Stadium, Dolphin Singular Stadium, Sun Life Stadium, and my personal favorite, Land Shark Stadium.
Land Shark. Oh, Walter.
To me, this park seems very old, even though it's been open only 31 years, and privately funded renovations were completed in 2015. It's probably due for a name change soon. I have to give props to Paul Brown Stadium, as it is one of the few that has never sold its naming rights to the highest bidder. But I think by the time we are done, it will be named Marvin Lewis Stadium in 2045 after he gracefully retires, having never seen a playoff win inside its doors. The stadium is nicknamed the Jungle. Featuring a design similar to that of Miami's Orange Bowl, it's worth noting that should a biblical flood occur in South Tampa, there is a large pirate ship available to hold 2 of every species to repopulate the earth. The old Tampa Stadium used to be next to the Ray J, and you can make out the remnants as it was demolished in 1999. After the Metrodome suffered this giant collapse in 2010, one of the NFL's newest stadiums got to witness this giant collapse just last year. Obviously built with a sturdy roof, this dome looks like a capsized boat or a very ugly turtle. What's interesting about Gillette Stadium is that nearly the entire town of Foxborough is owned by Robert Kraft, as he brilliantly moved his stadium way far away from Boston and then built a Branch Davidian-level complex where Bill Belichick probably sits around with his coaches in a drum circle and figures out how to use the NFL's rules to his advantage. One of the few retractable roof domes in the league, Lucas Oil Stadium also features side windows that open as well. Host of Super Bowl 46, an entire luxury hotel was built a couple blocks from the stadium specifically for that Super Bowl. I definitely like the old fieldhouse style architecture, and I'm also willing to bet the owner's suite features rotating tables. Opened in 1999, First Energy Stadium also doubles as a manufacturing site where they produce and distribute sadness. Nearby Lake Erie serves as a nice place to take a bath when you bet that your one-win team will improve and you amazingly somehow do worse. Watch them win 10 games this year. CenturyLink Field, the NFL's giant Gordita Crunch. One of the smartest design fields in the NFL, the stadium uses its roof to funnel noise onto the field of play and create an obviously disruptive environment. Bonus fact, in 2013, the field was given the honor of loudest in the world by the Guinness Book of World Records at 137.57 decibels, which has since been beat by another stadium on this list. Located a stone's throw from downtown Pittsburgh, Heinz Field was once described by Al Michaels as a sea of mustard that was built by ketchup. It's worth noting that in 2008, after a poll of 1,500 NFL players, Heinz Field was voted the worst playing surface in the league. The grass has since been changed and upgraded. Speaking of bad turf, located really far from San Francisco, Levi's Stadium is only 5 years old and has already hosted a Super Bowl. Though the venue has suffered criticism from players and residents alike, being close to Silicon Valley has its perks. If you want a beer, you don't have to hail the dude and awkwardly pass money to him. Just download the Stadium app and order one right there, you lazy bastard. I'm amazed that this stadium has actually hosted a Super Bowl, and since then it has added many features like a couple of swimming pools so that fans can get drunk and not have to wait in line for the bathroom. Nissan Stadium, designed by HOK Sport, looks similar to other stadiums that were designed by the architecture firm like Heinz Field. In 2010, the venue found itself 6 feet underwater when heavy rains caused the Cumberland River to overflow. What I like about this place is the massive pedestrian bridge, which allows fans to access downtown Nashville and get shit-faced in a country western bar after the game. I have to give credit to Philly, as they have really cleaned up the area where their stadiums are, because going to the vet back in the day was really scary. And I'm talking about inside the stadium. Luckily, with their higher ticket prices, the Eagles have now addressed that problem too. Yeah, Eagle fan, hit me with the reminder that you finally won the Super Bowl. I get it. I'd say the same thing too. Okay. How many stadiums is Mercedes-Benz allowed to slap their name on? This state-of-the-art marvel of architecture resembles Megatron's prolapsed anus, and yes, the hole in the roof opens and closes like that night you thought Arby's at 2 a.m. was a good idea. Seriously though, this stadium is one of the most technologically advanced the league has ever seen, and probably has faster internet than Comcast. Once named PSI-Net Stadium, did anyone know what PSI-Net actually did? M&T Bank Stadium has changed playing surfaces 4 times, recently going back to natural grass in 2016. Before that, the field was synthetic, yet Ray Lewis somehow found sod so that he could do his little dancey thing before the game. Formerly Ralph Wilson Stadium, New Era Field has gone through many recent upgrades, including the absolutely best parking lot in the history of sports. I mean, look at all the real estate for unbridled debauchery. Another retractable roof stadium, this behemoth sits next to the Astrodome, which is now being renovated to be a multi-purpose venue so that they can hold giant arts and craft shows there. NRG Stadium is the site of the infamous wardrobe malfunction incident, which occurred during halftime of Super Bowl 38. Not far away is the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, which survived one of the most catastrophic storms in US history. I think if I look around hard enough, I can find the generator that Roger Goodell pulled the plug on during Super Bowl 47. The structure has hosted the most Super Bowls at 7 and counting. One of the few NFL stadiums where all seating levels completely encompass the gridiron, Bank of America Stadium, is appropriately named because, I mean, what would Charlotte be without Bank of America? Shaped kind of like a football, the horseshoe with no name has been at the center of naming rights controversy since its inception. The Denver Post initially refused to call it Invesco Field, and then 7 years ago it was renamed Sports Authority Field, and now the park simply has no name. And I hear the place has state-of-the-art audio technology which allows the team to listen in on anyone criticizing John Elway and have them arrested and thrown into a dungeon immediately for besmirching his name. This 46-year-old stadium has an oval-shaped jumbotron. That's interesting, I guess. The noise is so loud in the building that the refs once threatened the crowd with a penalty because they were being too raucous in 1990. In 2014, the crowd did not shut up, and they set the world record for crowd noise with 142.2 decibels, beating out the 12th man's. The oldest and crustiest stadium in the league, the LA Coliseum, was originally built in 1923 and is the only NFL stadium that has also hosted an Olympic. The Rams will be moving to their new digs, which looks like a giant teardrop in 2020. It's located in Dr. Dre's neighborhood. Jerry World, the amazingly large stadium that is only surpassed in size by its owner's ego. The $1.3 billion complex features a retractable roof, stripper platforms, and a TV so large aliens could watch it from another galaxy. Admittedly, at&t Stadium is an engineering marvel. I've seen it and it is kind of amazing. When you think of historic must-see NFL stadiums, Lambeau Field definitely comes to mind. This park has been heavily upgraded in recent history. As the only publicly owned franchise in the NFL, a lot of the team's revenue does indeed go back into the stadium in the form of enhanced and expanded seating, luxury boxes, and a state-of-the-art atrium renovation. They also run melted cheese through a pipe system adjacent to the gas and water line. I'm kidding. Seriously though, how awesome would that be? What I like about FedEx Field is that it is nowhere near Washington, D.C. It's funny that during a Skins broadcast, they show stock footage of the Washington Monument and the Capitol building, but non-locals don't know that Landover is nearly an hour away from the city. Dan Snyder has also made getting to the stadium really difficult and expensive. So best take an Uber when you visit. Also, wow, the earth really is flat. And finally, the only stadium in the NFL that has roommates. MetLife has also been the only non-domed cold weather venue to host a Super Bowl. Opened in 2010 and somehow having the largest listed seating capacity, Jerry World can actually go to 100,000 if needed. The stadium has seen its two tenants do some awful things, like cover up the other squad's championship banners and subject their own fans to Geno Smith. Next to the park is an indoor downhill skiing facility, and yeah, that's the perfect metaphor for both teams' seasons last year. Ah, Gang Green and Big Blue. Siblings forever. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment your favorite sports stadium or stadium feature, and of course subscribe for more interesting videos on sports. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to the end of this video.